Hi there, it's Spiritual Psychic Cynthia Killian here, also known as Psychic Cynthia, and welcome back. Welcome back to your Level 1 Awakening Your Inner Psychic video development course. And tonight we're going to go a little bit deeper into the lower chakras. Now, hopefully you've watched the earlier video that just goes over the chakras, the whole entire chakra system, point by point, not necessarily in great depth, but really just getting you introduced, because that would be helpful. And as I mentioned in there, in the traditional chakra systems, we have 7. But tonight's video is about the lower chakras. So now what we're doing is we're going to go back over the chakras again, but we're going to break it into pieces. And basically, you can think of the chakra system as having 3 distinct parts. You'd have your lower chakras, which would be down with the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So that's your tailbone, your belly button, and right under your rib cage. So that's one system of itself. It's a system within the chakra system. And those are what is meant when you hear the phrase lower chakras, okay? Lower chakras, there's 3. That's going to be your root, your sacral chakra, also sometimes called the spleen, and your solar plexus chakra, okay? And that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight. And yes, I'm wearing a red elf hat, red and green, I guess, because I'm filming around the holiday season. And I thought, since we're dealing with the lower chakras, to bring in a little red into my coloration might be good. Plus, I've been wearing this all day. I'm feeling very festive. So you're wondering what's up with this red elf hat? It's tying in with our lower chakras video class tonight. Now, that's the first system in the chakra, or subsystems. So hear me. I want to make sure we're clear here. The entire chakra system consists of the 7. The root, which is basically at your tailbone, okay? And then your sacral chakra, which is a couple of inches below your belly button, more or less. And then your solar plexus, which is in the solar plexus area. So it's right up underneath those rib cage on most people. And then you go up to the heart chakra. And then you have the throat, third eye, crown. Okay? And that's the complete chakra system, major chakras. Of course, there's some other minor ones you'll hear about, and those are great too, but let's start with the big psychic information highways first. Let's work on those and get acquainted with those. And so within this complete chakra system of 7, there are 3 chakra systems, like subsystems. And tonight we're focusing on the lower chakra system. And remember, that is the root, that is the sacral, and the solar plexus. Okay? And it's as if these are a system within the system. So let's get acquainted. And you might remember from the last video, perhaps I mentioned this, that energy tends to flow upward in the body. And that's just part of our natural wiring. And that's why we're starting in the lower chakras and working our way up. Now, it's very important to work with the lower chakras on your psychic path. You may not know this. You may have heard about the third eye and the crown and the throat and opening to your guides and becoming more psychic and seeing visions. And yes, all of that's true, that up here in these upper chakras, we open perception and connect in with cosmic consciousness. And of course you want to do that on your psychic path. And of course you want to clear the lens of that third eye so that you can see more clearly in your readings for yourself and others. But it all starts with the lower chakras. These lower chakras are foundational, for they're all part of your groundedness and being grounded. And grounding isn't something we should just do after we do a reading or go on a ghost hunt or, participate in a ritual or a ceremony. Grounding is a healthy way of being, a healthy way of life, and it's necessary if you want to open psychically. It's necessary so you can stay healthy as a psychic, but it's also necessary to open. Did you know that the more grounded you are in your roots, so to speak, in your energy system and in the earth, the more grounded you are, the more deep you are, the higher up you can open. Makes sense, doesn't it? If you have your feet firmly planted on the ground, if you have a strong foundation, if you're solid and grounded, doesn't it make sense that would give you the energy you need to reach up and aspire higher? It does, doesn't it? So tonight, that's what we're working with. And I mentioned the red earlier. I wanted to bring in some color energy. I'm all about working with the colors when it comes to the chakras. And seriously, a lot of times, all you have to do to activate a chakra is to think about the color associated with it and really see yourself awashed in that color. That's a good way. Just visualize the colors all around your aura and all around yourself. Put the colors on and let them in your clothing and let them work their way from the outside inward. And then also visualize a wheel of spinning energy where that color is located on the body. And remember, in terms of your visualizations, when you're seeing these and sensing them in your mind, remember the chakras, except for the root and the crown, they all start on the back side. They start like outside of your spine and move forward, okay? So even though, say, for example, the solar plexus chakra I pointed here, and that's true, but it starts back there, okay? Same thing for the heart. I mean, even though the heart chakra is here, yes, the physical heart is here, but the heart chakra starts back there. And we'll talk more about the heart chakra probably in the next video. But do be aware that when you're visualizing, let's say just for the lower chakras tonight, when you're visualizing your sacral chakra, the one that's 2 inches below your belly button, or you're visualizing your solar plexus, which is a few inches above your belly button, remember to visualize them starting from the back to the front. That will help you to connect in with their energy. I mean, it's not wrong if you just want to feel them in the front. It's just incomplete, okay? So if it's easier to start with seeing them only in the front, hey, that's cool. Start there, but eventually work your inner psychic muscles so that you start to experience that energy moving from the back to the front. Okay, now the root, let's start there in the lower chakras. And before we go further, I get so excited and I talk so fast sometimes, forgive me. So if you were here with me in person, which we can connect just like that, dear one, we can cross the veils of time and space. And it is as if we are here together in person. And of course we can do that because we're both psychic. So let's just take a moment to be grounded as we move deeper into this topic. Let's take a few deep breaths in together. And what I'd like for you to hear when you take your breaths in right now is I want you to hear a sound on the exhale, just like you heard me making. I'm not really making it, it's just happening naturally. So just let your breath release in such a way that there is an auditory release on the exhale. A sigh, you might say, the sighing breath. Let's do this a few times together. And then adjust your posture, which I need to do here. I'm sort of setting to the side. I do that. I was, well, you know, we psychics are wired a little bit differently. So sometimes I go that way. But we want to correct and get a little bit more aligned, okay? And I'm straight at least, so that's good. And you want to be straight in your spine, upright is what I'm saying, not that, okay? It doesn't have to be totally rigid either, just straight. And I want you to just think to yourself something simple but powerful, such as grounding and centering now. I am grounding and centering now. And as you're doing that, I want you to feel it in the root chakra and in the tailbone, okay? Let's close our eyes and let's do some more of that sighing breath, or it's more like a sounding breath. So if there's a sound on the exhale, whatever is natural for you. With your eyes closed, I know it's a video, but just for a few seconds, go ahead and close your eyes. It's very important because that helps you to go into that relaxed trance state. Think letting go. Think you're grounding and centering now. and just become aware of that tailbone. And you can go ahead and open your eyes now if you want, but keep them soft focus. I don't know if you can see here, but it's almost like I'm letting my vision be soft and a little blurry. It feels good. It feels good. It's just relaxed. My eyes are very relaxed. You know, your eyes like to relax too. And keep breathing in a relaxed way now. It doesn't have to be real deep or making a loud sound. And so just become aware of the energies at the tailbone. Now, the root and the crown are different than the other chakras, and we'll focus on the root right now. The root is the, you might say, the king, the master of the lower chakra system. I mean, he is the foundation, right? And I think of the root as being masculine. I don't know that it is. It could be both, right? Male and female. But the root, well, it's your roots, right? It's the foundation. And the color typically associated with the root is red. However, it's not the only color. A deep, rich brown is also associated. I was going to bring something brown. Well, this has kind of got the red and brown in it together. This is just a shirt, but it's nice. It shows a little bit of the orange, so it's kind of the red, the root chakra, and the sacral. Actually, maybe that's more for the sacral. I don't know. It's kind of in between. But if you can think of a deep brown, like a rich brown, earthy brown, or a burgundy, right? You know, burgundy. Those are also root colors. And then another root color is black. Well, I'm trying to get this dish out. So I have black and white here, but black is for the root. White is for the crown. So this little dish ball I have here is it's like something I could meditate on to unify my root chakra and crown chakras together. And that's maybe for a later time, okay? But think about those colors, the red and the black and the brown, the dark, rich brown and the burgundy. These are your root colors. And, you know, you can take your consciousness into your chakras and any of them, including the root here, let's say, and just use it to build it up, send energy into it, send light, imagine the light coming out more. The root is red like blood. And so that gives you clues about what it's tuned into for you. It is the life force energy in the body. To some extent, all the chakras relate to life energy, but especially your root chakras. So when that is not flowing well, the energy in there, in other words, when it's blocked, then you may feel cut off from your vitality, your energy. Here's the thing. When we're looking at this system of the lower chakras, they're all relating in some way to your vitality, your creativity, and your energy. Each one of them has a different role, but they're all their own system that relates to your life force energy, okay? The get up and go, your passion. And of course, you need all of this to be a successful psychic, to be happy in life, to be inspired and motivated. It's very important to have all of these chakras healthy and happy. Sometimes people say, well, why should I care about balancing my chakras? Well, one reason to care is so you'll care about life. So you'll have the energy you need to live life and to be healthy. And all these chakras, the three in the lower chakra system, are connected to or sort of pour out into the digestive system and the reproductive system. So if you have any physical issues around those, you might want to work a little extra on balancing your lower chakras. So you start in the root, and that's your red and your vitality. And if that's blocked or under stress, a lot of times we'll have survival issues, or let's say survival issues can lead to a blocked root chakra. And what's a survival issue? Well, I mean, it can literally be you're worried about your survival because you're sick and you think you're going to die. If you're empathic, it could be you're worried about somebody else's survival and you take that on yourself. And it's as if you think you're going to die, okay? But it can also be money issues. You know, a lot of us fear for our survival if we feel we don't have enough money. Even though we could have plenty of money, and maybe, you know, sometimes it's just an inner perception. We worry even if we don't need to. So there's a lot to go on with that. And I do find that in many psychics and light workers that I work with, that this root chakra is not working properly when they first come into their training. And let me explain something to you. A lot of naturally psychic people, people that are, well, first of all, what I even mean by that, I mean, I think you know what I mean. You know if you're a natural psychic, and you probably are, by the way, if you're watching this video. So, you have some sort of sensitivity and, awareness, or just a tuned inness that not everybody in the mainstream does. You pick up on things in your own way, whatever that way is, right? Whether you see auras, or you sense emotions or feelings, or you're in tune with plants and animals, or, you can feel and direct healing energy, or you have psychic dreams, whatever, you have hunches and intuition. There's so many manifestations of these wonderful gifts, but you kind of have always been that way. And part of what allows the psychic personality to be that way, and you'll hear me use that phrase a lot, the psychic personality, because I do think there's a shared archetype among us. And so we tend to have more porous auras than the rest of the population, the majority. And this allows more in, okay? And part of that has to do with, okay, when you're born, like your tiny little baby, right? And you're born into this world, and, you take that first breath. And what needs to happen for every tiny little baby is that root chakra needs to fire up. Because the root chakra is actually the master pilot light of the whole system. That's also where your kundalini lies, okay? You heard of that energy activating kundalini? I mean, this is not a class on Tantra yoga, but still, you probably have heard of what I'm saying here. And the idea that your power and energy is coiled up there in that root. And, when that root chakra activates, it's just like sets the whole system up, right? It just lights you up. And that's good, okay? That's good. That's what you want to be. But here's the thing. A lot of us naturally psychic people, when we're born, our souls, we experience what I call incarnational ambivalence. In other words, we are not so sure about being here in the physical place. And a lot of times, I don't know why this is, but it seems to me that a lot of psychics and natural born psychic type people have experienced early childhood trauma, very early. Whether that is around them in the family, it could be at the birth experience, it could be a sudden illness, like I almost died, or pretty much did die, and had near-death experience at the age of 2. Okay, that would be a trauma. There was also trauma in my family with some of the family members. And this is not uncommon at all. Most psychic types that I have interviewed and have known will share, some experiences. And of course, you could even look at the trauma of the birth incident is, if the circumstances around that weren't so good, if the family was going to hell and then you were born, for example. All of this can make the soul of that infant that you once were very nervous, or that small child. And so then the root chakra, either one of two things happens. Either it doesn't fully fire up at birth because you're born into, a situation with questionable dynamics, and your soul is like, I don't know if I really want to be here. So it kind of half opens, you might say. And so then you're going to be going through your life for a while with the half opened root chakra. Not good. Okay, not good. Or maybe it does open up fully, but then just a little bit later on in childhood, or even later, it starts to shut down because you develop incarnational ambivalence. Later you start thinking, I don't really know if I want to be on the earth plane. I'm not sure I like this place. It seems unfriendly. It's kind of hard to get around. I can't manifest everything I want instantly. Geez, the spiritual plane was so much easier, right? These are all thoughts that might come through, right? That might lead to some issues in the root chakra, or be reflections of it. And certainly if you've ever been suicidal, and I hope you're not now, and if you are, please get help. Reach out to someone, okay? But if you've ever been that, then there are root chakra issues. And listen, I'm not saying that just opening your root chakra is the cure for suicide, but it's certainly part of healing those feelings of alienation that manifest when we have blocks and weaknesses in the lower chakra system, specifically the root chakra. Okay, so I was going to talk about all of the chakras here, but I think this video is getting long enough. This is enough information for now. So your homework is to work with the root chakra, familiarize yourself with it. And yes, if I provided you written materials, which I usually do if you're in the mentorship program, but even if you're not, okay, you can read up on the root chakra if you want. What I really would suggest that you do is to actually engage your root chakra through the meditation and something simple like what we just did, breathing deeply with your eyes closed, visualizing the red root, and just thinking, I am grounded, I am centered, I'm releasing, I'm letting go. I have my feet firmly planted on the earth. You might also add, if you'd like to work with some affirmations beyond that, you might also add something simple and joyous, such as, I'm happy and glad to be here on planet Earth. Because guess what? You'll be a much better psychic and you'll have better energy if you're happy and glad to be here. So until next time, I want you to know that I'm happy and glad that you're here. And I'm happy and glad to be with you along your journey. Bright blessings. Bye.